Welcome to week 4, running and scaling campaigns. If Module 3 was about proving your ideas work on paper, Module 4 is about proving them in the real world. At this stage, you already understand ROI and attribution. Now it's about operationalizing those frameworks, how to take everything you've planned and make it perform in a live environment. Think of this week as your shift from strategist to operator. By the end of this module, you'll be running campaigns the way top brands do, measuring, optimizing, and scaling with purpose. By the end of this module, you'll be able to launch and manage campaigns confidently, use data to guide real-time decisions, and build sustainable, scalable influencer systems. As you read through these objectives, connect each one to what you'll do this week and in your capstone. Workflows. You'll learn how to keep dozens of moving parts aligned using tools like Airtable and Slack. Optimization. We'll practice real-time decision-making, how to reallocate spend mid-flight when data shifts. Scaling. You'll move from pilot projects to sustainable influencer systems that brands can repeat and trust. Everything you build this week feeds directly into your capstone. What you submit there mirrors how real campaign operators work. And remember my 3 golden rules for success. Real-time learning is the best learning. As you scroll through your feeds this week and you see something you believe could be relevant to the course, engage. My social profiles are listed in my link tree at Jennifer Neely. Check in with me if you're experiencing difficulties in the course. Let's look at the complete campaign life cycle. Every successful influencer program follows a repeatable cycle that improves with each round. This loop is the blueprint for running and scaling campaigns effectively. You plan strategically, aligning goals with your audience. This step was largely covered in Module 3, where we establish goals and key performance indicators. You must set up analytics and attribution tools before launching campaigns. You activate the campaign through creators who express your message authentically. During the launch phase, your key task is to publish content and monitor performance daily, verifying disclosure visibility and responding early to audience feedback. You analyze performance in real time using reliable data. Once content is live, tracking and analyzing its performance is crucial to measure success. You must gather data on key metrics, moving beyond just vanity metrics to focus on ROI-driven insights. Essential metrics to monitor during this phase include engagement rate, likes, comments, shares, saves, click-through rate, or CTR, and conversions and sales tracked via affiliate links or promo codes. Speed is essential. The goal is to track and tweak in real time. You amplify what performs best through paid boosts of repurposed content. After analyzing which content and which influencers are driving the most conversions, the next step is to optimize and scale those successful strategies. You identify top-performing influencers for potential long-term partnerships and leverage their original content, IGC or UGC, for paid ads to extend the campaign's lifespan. This amplification process is where you apply the learnings and double down on what works. Finally, you repeat the process, applying what you've learned to the next campaign. This final step involves performing an audit to determine what worked and what didn't, using those results to plan and target future campaigns more effectively. This continuous loop of optimization is how brands move from running single campaigns to building predictable revenue drivers. Strong marketers build systems that grow and evolve, and that is how influence grows and ROI compounds over time. Pre-launch. This stage determines how smooth your entire campaign will run. Now, I want to stress the importance of discipline. Skipping pre-launch preparation is the #1 cause of ROI failure. This pre-launch phase is the most overlooked but the most valuable stage. Pre-launch means systems, not just ideas, tracking approvals, legal sign-off, and data verification. Think of it as your go, no-go checkpoint. Once you move past this phase, the campaign is live and your data must be clean. Detail how you would operationalize this readiness step even if you're working solo. Now, how to do that? Build readiness before the first post goes live. First, finalize the creative briefs and set up tracking infrastructure. This is critical because tracking is vital to link content exposure to revenue. You must finalize content expectations, including the type of content, frequency, format, tone, and messaging. Tracking infrastructure includes UTM parameters, pixels, and promo codes. Remember, UTM codes are small snippets added to a URL to track traffic, where it originates, and how users interact with content. You must test all links and analytics before launch. 2. Confirm influencer contracts, deliverables, and disclosures. Transparency about payments, timelines, and product delivery must be documented. The contract must be clearly outlined, and expected content, whether it's an Instagram reel, TikTok video, unboxing, or tutorial, and how many posts are required. This is also the time to ensure the influencer has the correct disclosure language to comply with legal requirements in the way that you have designed. 3. Align internal teams, marketing, legal, analytics, on approvals and timelines. Execution starts with clarity, and ambiguity kills momentum. The most successful campaigns happen when teams are completely synchronized on objectives. Aligning teams is essential to ensure a smooth approval workflow. 4. Conduct risk and brand fit reviews. This review ensures the content aligns with your brand values and tone of voice. You must conduct a risk and brand fit review because poor vetting often leads to underperforming campaigns. 5. Test all links, analytics, and campaign hashtags. This disciplined approach ensures that once content is live, you can immediately begin tracking and analyzing performance, setting you up for scalable success. The launch phase. It's your moment of truth. Every process you built during pre-launch now gets tested. The purpose of this entire phase, launch and post-launch, is to manage live operations and transition to optimization. Our key mindset for this stage is measure while you move. Your goal is stability and responsiveness. You must monitor performance daily and check that all tracking tools are working as intended. Launch phase tasks. This is your live monitoring stage. Publish approved content and verify disclosures are visible. As content goes live, confirm the necessary compliance tags are clearly in place. Confirm UTMs and pixel tracking are firing correctly. Test them ahead of time. Tools like the TikTok pixel should be set up to track events and conversions, informing campaigns to find audiences most likely to convert. Now, once content is live, engagement and sentiment tell you immediately what is resonating. Engagement rate is a critical metric here, calculated using likes, comments, and shares, as well as saves, which indicates quality content and audience interest. You should also use social listening tools to gauge audience sentiment, positive, neutral, negative. You want to engage promptly with audiences through creator comments. Your brand should actively comment on the influencer's post, making it fun and natural, or whatever tone is right for your brand. And reply to questions or mentions right away. This prompt engagement helps push the content in the algorithm and builds trust. To effectively handle these tasks at scale, utilize specific tools. Platforms such as Creator IQ function as influencer marketing CRMs, offering built-in analytics reports and dashboards that provide up-to-the-minute reports on customer engagement rates and top-performing campaigns. You can also rely on native tools like Instagram Insights or TikTok Analytics to check performance. I would just make sure to export that or make sure that you have direct access to it. You're not gated by your influencer. Now, your post-launch tasks are analysis and optimization setup. So as that data accumulates, you're already shifting into the post-launch phase, analyzing performance and preparing for scaling decisions. Optimization begins the moment the first post goes live. Aggregate performance data, reach, engagement, CTR, sales. Collecting data on key metrics is crucial to measure success. The metrics you aggregate depend on your goal. For conversions, sales, signups, track metrics like conversions and sales using promo codes or affiliate link conversions. For engagement, focus on saves and comments, which reveal real interest rather than just superficial likes. For traffic, track the CTR, which measures how many people clicked a unique URL compared to how many saw the post. Identify top-performing creators and content types. Analyze the performance of data to identify top-performing influencers who drove the most conversions or engagement. This insight allows you to review the specific content formats, for example, tutorial, reel, unboxing, that performed best and replicate those successful formats. Prepare reports for optimization or paid amplification. The final step in measurement is turning data into action. You should prepare reports to determine what needs improvement and where to optimize future efforts. This involves using real-time analytics to monitor conversions and adjust strategies during the campaign. Archive all posts for compliance and review. Archiving posts and documents, outreach, agreements, and approvals is necessary for compliance. Then you want to visualize how data flows from creator content into dashboards. Data should be unified across different sources. From native platform analytics to affiliate networks, they should be displayed on a dashboard. You could use one like Google Analytics or Google Data Studio that track both organic and paid metrics in real time. Reference how this connects to next week's focus on optimization layers. The goal of this analysis is to optimize and scale your strategy. By focusing on high-intent actions, you will learn what content resonates and how to reallocate budget to top-performing creators. Optimization levers include A/B testing, different calls to action, and content formats mid-flight to refine your approach. This analytical transition from collecting data to making agile, data-driven decisions is the focus of the next steps in this module. The pre-launch phase is your strategic foundation, and execution begins with clarity. When every system is verified before activation, campaigns launch on time and data stays reliable. This pre-launch preparation is the most valuable stage. Now, I want you to think of this again as your go, no-go checkpoint. Operational readiness is what differentiates professional marketers from content managers. Operational readiness means every component, from the creative brief to analytics, is tested and aligned. Readiness equals predictability. Many campaign issues trace back to incomplete pre-launch quality assurance. If any of these checkpoints are skipped, the campaign loses both speed and credibility. Detail how you would operationalize this readiness step. It shows you understand how to manage risk before you launch. Documenting who verifies each readiness item demonstrates accountability and attention to detail. This level of detail differentiates your work as operational readiness, and this is what differentiates people from professional marketers. Let's take a look at how we can streamline operations as influencer campaigns scale. All campaigns require tools, but consistency of use matters more than the brand choice of software itself. A tool is not a strategy. Instead, think of marketing technology, MarTech, as an enabler for executing your strategy. You need to select one primary system and train everyone on it. This is because tool sprawl creates blind spots, making campaign management difficult. Process discipline is the key factor that determines how smooth your entire campaign will run. As you scale from a single campaign to a full program, these tools should be grouped by their core function. One would be project management and CRM, onboard creators, track contracts, deliverables, and payment release. This centralizes all data and content assets in one space. The next group would be analytics and monitoring. Monitor cross-platform performance, sentiment, and KPIs. Unify performance data from multiple platforms for quicker reporting. Next is communication and asset hubs. Real-time coordination, feedback, and document management. Supports fast cross-team communication while preventing fragmentation of record keeping. The real power of these systems is the live view dashboard. Disconnected data erodes trust faster than bad results. So the ultimate goal is data centralization. Imagine a dashboard, perhaps built in a tool like Tableau or a simple Google Sheet connected to Looker Studio that shows all your live campaign data in one place. This live view makes the abstraction of campaign performance tangible. Clarity on results. You can see real-time dashboards that show reach, conversions, and overall performance. Dashboards provide a quick overview of results. Unified KPIs. You can track key performance indicators like post-performance, user adoption, and advertising performance grouped by purpose. You immediately see which creators drive results at which stage of the funnel, visual decision-making. Tools transform complex data sets into intuitive visual dashboards. You can track engagement and conversion rates in a visually appealing and interactive way. This facilitates strategic decision-making and helps teams easily identify what is working and what is not, and how to adjust strategies accordingly. Ultimately, the key benefit of automation is that it manages repetition, such as reporting and data collection, so that you can focus on relationships and creative strategy, where human judgment matters most. Consistency in your systems leads to higher credibility when sharing results with stakeholders. The execution phase requires defining who does what. We established who to measure when we set up our objectives and key performance indicators in Module 3. Now here in Module 4, we're defining who executes. The biggest operational failure point in scaling campaigns is often confusion about roles, not a lack of creativity. Remember, this is a collaborative area of marketing, digital marketing in particular. And functional groups frequently fail to manage the process effectively because they focus on optimizing these individual little touch points rather than understanding the cumulative product or service and brand experience across the journey. When new ecosystem partners are included, this lack of overview dramatically increases complexity, and it doesn't have to. The solution is to establish accountability. Accountability is essential for high-growth teams because it helps you and your team engage, take ownership of your work, and take responsibility for progress. By defining who is responsible for each metric, accountability becomes inevitable. We visualize this ownership using a responsibility map, often utilizing the frameworks like an RACI chart, responsible, accountable, consulted, and informed, to clarify relationships. This map ensures that every component, from the creative brief to the analytics, has an owner. It's critical that you define ownership early so that no task lives in limbo. When expectations, briefs, and deadlines are structured and crystal clear upfront, communication becomes smoother and provides both the brand and the creator with accountability. If you should assign these roles explicitly in your campaign plan, even if you're working solo and one person fills multiple boxes. This level of detail shows you understand how to manage risk before launch and documents who verifies each readiness item. This rigor transforms a strategic idea into an actionable plan, accelerating decision-making, ensuring your execution is both predictable and successful. The sample 8-week timeline you see here, moving from planning to reporting, is an essential tool for converting chaos into clear cadence. However, this structure is completely adaptable. The speed of your campaign must align with your industry and objective. For example, consumer launches, especially for lower ticket or impulse buy items, often compresses into intense 4-week cycles. In contrast, B2B campaigns for technology or complex products typically run longer cycles. A 1 to 3 year cycle is optimal for SME B2B marketing strategies, requiring longer planning and quarterly reporting. Timing is crucial, particularly in real-time industries like sports media. You must map this cadence directly into your planning. When you do this, you should carefully label which milestones are client-facing, like final reports or approvals, versus internal, like tracking setup and quality assurance. Your digital marketing implementation/control plan should include a timeline that details the action required, estimated budget, and controls. This structure is how you enforce accountability. Every campaign should have a defined decision point or decision points where go, no-go, or pivot calls occur. These are moments where you must monitor campaign results and be ready to adapt or adjust strategies and tactics according to how well a campaign is performing. This is also why marketing planning should include a contingency plan to address backup needs. The deliverables matrix you see here is the operational link between your strategy and execution, ensuring you balance creative diversity with measurement clarity. This matrix is where you translate the theory of tiered influence into a structured list of deliverables, costs, and key performance indicators. The core logic is strategic segmentation. Multiple tiers ensure reach and authenticity. Tie back to Module 3's layered KPIs. We established there that different funnel stages require different metrics. This matrix ensures that your nano and micro tiers, which have highly engaged and authentic audiences, are tasked with high-intent deliverables like reels, stories, or unboxings that feed conversion metrics like CTR and CPA. These influencers typically form the base of the influence pyramid, and conversely, your macro tiers are leveraged for broader visibility for those top-of-funnel roles, and their deliverables are generally focused on reach and impressions. This structured mapping ensures that you are tracking what matters rather than simply what's easiest to measure. Without a structured matrix, teams overcommit to deliverables that cannot be tracked evenly. This matrix prevents you from being overwhelmed by fragmented data by providing a clear blueprint that signals to everyone from the creator to the analytics team which metrics matter most. By structuring a living document that clarifies deliverables, revision policies, and payment terms, you accelerate decision-making and ensure strategic coherence from the initial outreach through the final performance debrief. Accountability is clear when every deliverable is linked to a measured metric. If a chart or metric can't drive a decision, it's essentially decoration. Here we move from technical planning to human management. The core concept here is that communication is not simply administrative overhead. It's a performance variable. Predictability prevents panic. Operational success depends on establishing a clear communication cadence. This rhythmic exchange ensures that accountability is clear. Accountability is essential for high-growth teams as it helps you grow your team and engage. Take ownership of your work and take responsibility for progress. The biggest operational failure point in scaling campaigns is often confusion about roles, not lack of creativity. So let's look at the recommended cadence. The first is a weekly sync. This is typically a live, short call, Zoom, stand-up, focused on status updates and blocking issues. Use this live conversation to oversee the project and ensure everyone has what they need. This is also the time to formally review the influencer performance and determine ways to optimize or adjust. These weekly accountability reports tend to really boost your chances of success and help you build routine and reflect on progress. The second is a midweek update. These are short, asynchronous updates via email summaries or project tracking tools like Notion or Micro. Async updates should complement, not replace, live conversation during a high-volume phase. This check-in provides key metrics, a snapshot, and helps prevent problems from escalating. Many crises stem from a lack of consistent midweek check-ins. The most critical point of impact occurs when something goes wrong, and a timely update could help you handle customer issues before they destroy a relationship. 3 is launch day check-in. This is a real-time thread focused on verifying engagement and compliance. It requires fast cross-team communication. You must check that disclosure visibility is confirmed and engage promptly with early audience feedback. 4 is post-campaign review. This formal debrief focused on performance and next steps. Teams should meet at least twice a month to review performance and optimize strategies. Tools like Slack or Micro are built to support this rhythm, allowing team members to add updates and leave comments whenever it suits them. They streamline communication, reducing the need for lengthy email threads, keeping everything crystal clear and upfront. Including all dates and deliverables in one place makes communication smoother and provides both sides with accountability. The approval flowchart you see here is a map, ensuring that content moves from the creator's idea to a live post cleanly, compliantly, and quickly. We call this the approval workflow, and it's one of the most critical systems for scaling operations. Approvals are a process, not politics, so let's walk through each arrow slowly to reinforce the order and dependencies. The creator submits draft content. This is where the creative brief, which we talked about in Module 3, comes to life. Brand reviews marks revisions or approval. The brand checks the content against the creative brief, messaging strategy, and general standards. Legal verifies disclosure and brand safety. This step ensures the content adheres to all regulations, including disclosure requirements and contract terms. This is critical because a review of all content, images, and copy should be conducted before launching digital activity. This also helps protect the brand from being unfair or deceptive under Section 5 of the FTC Act. You may operate on small teams, so steps 2 and 3, brand review and legal verification, may be combined. However, regardless of team size, legal or compliance sign-off should never be skipped in regulated sectors like healthcare, finance, or education. For example, in the health space, marketers must always consider patient privacy and sensitivity when tailoring content. Creator finalizes and resubmits. The creator incorporates feedback and prepares the final content for scheduling. Post-scheduled goes live. Analytics tracking begins, pixel and UTM confirmation. Once live, tracking begins immediately. To keep this process efficient, we rely on automation. Automation helps preserve clarity without slowing turnaround. Now, confusion about roles, not lack of creativity, is the biggest operational failure point. Automation manages repetitive and time-consuming tasks. Systems such as approval tasks and tools like Asana or specialized form views help preserve clarity by automatically routing content to the next person responsible and providing notifications. This ensures that ambiguity kills momentum. This operational readiness is what allows you to manage risk before launch and prevent expensive problems later. What you monitor daily is what you can improve weekly. During live campaigns, speed of insight matters more than the volume of data. We've moved past the pre-launch phase where we tested systems. Now we're using data to make real-time decisions. Failure to monitor and analyze various aspects of the digital marketing effort may result in reaching the wrong audiences and substantial waste of money. Your goal is to triage fast, not collect everything. Key tracking areas. Once content is live, you must monitor several key tracking areas, including click-through rate. This measures content effectiveness. The CTR is the ratio of viewers clicking on the influencer's content link to the number of viewers who saw the post. It's the ideal measurement when the objective is to know whether someone actually clicked on the message or swiped up for more information. Engagement rate. This assesses the quality of interaction, not just likes. High engagement typically indicates that content is resonating with the audience and is more effective at influencing behavior. Metrics like saves and shares indicate a high perceived value and a higher likelihood of impacting long-term consideration. Conversion events. This includes purchases, signups, or downloads. Conversion tracking is often accompanied or accomplished using UTM parameters and pixel tracking. Using affiliate links and promo codes ties the influencer's content directly to the sales funnel, further clarifying ROI. Sentiment analysis. This monitors the tone of comments and direct messages. Sentiment analysis quantifies the quality and perception of interactions, moving beyond superficial engagement. Sentiment tools help you monitor whether the public perception around topics leans positive, negative, or neutral. Compliance checks ensure disclosure visibility and brand safety. You want to triage fast. Speed is essential because some content formats, like ephemeral content such as stories, rely on urgency and immediacy. If you see a sudden CTR drop on stories, it may mean caption fatigue and you need to pivot the copy that day. For instance, ephemeral content heightens FOMO, fear of missing out, and drives quick audience responses. If engagement or click-through drops sharply on a story, the sense of urgency may be lost. You need to adjust mid-flight with an agile adjustment, such as testing an alternate hook or thumbnail. This is where the theoretical planning for Module 3 becomes operational. Your layered KPIs, which map desired outcomes to specific metrics, are now being read in real time instead of post-campaign. If your primary goal is conversions, you are monitoring CTR, CPA, and ROAS. If your goal is community building, you're monitoring shares, saves, and comment to view ratio. This real-time analytics enables you to monitor conversions and adjust strategies during the campaign. You can easily see which creators drive results at which stage of the funnel Platforms can provide up-to-the-minute reports that give insight into top influencers and customer engagement rates. Once your content is live, you must rapidly move from measurement into agile adjustments. This is the adapt/adjust activity of digital marketing, what I like to call adapt or die, where you change based on consumer behavior and adjust to the environment. We established the return on ad spend curve concept in Module 3, and now we're actively acting on that math. The goal is simple: maximize return per dollar and reduce spend on what's not working. When to adjust mid-flight. To do this effectively, we must first recognize the optimization windows. You need to allow the platform algorithms time to stabilize. We recommend a 48-hour minimum before making significant pivots. If you make changes too soon, the system will not have enough data to exit its initial learning phase. Here's the agile adjustments you can make based on your real-time dashboard data. Low CTR. Test alternate hook or thumbnail. If content's not performing well, you must refresh the assets. Since content under 60 seconds this is the standard, the first 3 seconds, the hook, must be compelling. If your CTR is low, the audience is scrolling past, so you need to test a new opening or thumbnail. Low engagement rate. Swap creator or refresh creative angle. Low engagement can signal creative fatigue. You need to automatically detect creative fatigue and refresh your assets to combat it. This might mean testing a different positioning message as creative wins are compounding. High cost per acquisition. Pause underperforming assets. If content is costing too much to generate a sale, you must reduce or pause the bottom quartile of performers. You must track ROAS daily by creator or ad set and reallocate budget to top performers. High ROAS segment, increase boost budget. If you identify a segment or creator that's consistently performing well, you must allocate incremental budget to amplify the top performing organic creative for the best results. The decision rule is never let a campaign coast for more than 7 days without a data-based decision. This process requires documentation. Every single change you make must be logged for later ROI analysis. For example, sometimes the simplest creative change can yield massive results. Imagine a brand swapped the soundtrack on a short video and the CTR tripled within 36 hours. This has happened for me. Tools and features on platforms allow for fast editing, such as trimming videos and adding automated captions and styles. AI is particularly effective at managing repetitive tasks, such as generating routine performance reports. This agile adjustment process allows you to manage live operations and make quick, informed decisions that protect your cash flow and secure a higher return on investment. The shift to audience optimization moves the analysis from confirming a campaign objective or objectives to comparing performance metrics across different influencer tiers. While you previously identified key performance indicators such as reach for awareness and conversion rate, or CAC for direct response, we now analyze these metrics comparatively to determine optimal budget allocation. Metrics comparing reach versus conversion. The choice of influencer tier relies on recognizing the trade-off between reach and engagement. Different tiers fulfill distinct roles in the marketing funnel. Macro influencers are sought for their expansive visibility and ability to generate mass awareness. They're best suited for top-of-funnel lift, measured primarily by metrics like impressions and reach. However, this broader audience often leads to lower engagement rates and higher cost. Micro and nano influencers excel in niche markets and are favored for campaigns focused on conversion. They cultivate higher trust and relatability, leading to superior ROI, especially compared against macro influencers in high engagement niches. For these tiers, the key performance indicators are focused on tangible business outcomes such as conversion rate, click-through rate, and CPA. This comparative analysis is necessary because while macro influencers may drive reach, this often comes at a diminishing marginal return when compared to the ROI generated by micro influencers. Brand maturity dictates tier mix. The optimal mix of influencer tiers is often determined by the brand's maturity, budget size, and core objectives. Startups and smaller brands typically rely on micro and nano influencers. This is because these tiers are significantly more cost-effective and their higher engagement to cost ratio provides a higher return on investment for performance-driven campaigns where sales and leads are the focus. The ecosystem benefits small to medium-sized businesses who want to test at scale without large overheads. Established brands or those with advanced marketing maturity can afford to deploy a balanced portfolio or kind of a pyramid structure. This allows them to use macro influencers for broad awareness and large-scale product launches while simultaneously leveraging micro and nano influencers to drive consistent, trackable conversions and cultivate long-term community loyalty. The ultimate long-term goal for every brand is to utilize each level of this pyramid. Data hygiene, segmentation before reallocation. For scaling to be financially disciplined, data hygiene is paramount. You must always segment performance by tier before reallocating budget. This practice ensures that investment decisions are based on quantifiable efficiency rather than perceived popularity. Tracking CPA by creator tier is a critical metric for budget decisions. The metric cost per acquisition tells you the actual cost of gaining a new customer via a specific influencer. Marketing dashboards should integrate and centralize data to provide clear comparability, showing which creators drive results at which stage in the funnel. If analysis reveals that micro-influencers show a better CPA than macro-influencers, you should redirect your budget to work with more niche creators. This operational decision ensures that marketing dollars are continuously shifted toward high-performing segments to drive sustainable growth and maximize ROI. Timing optimization is a high-impact optimization lever that requires no new budget. It's just smarter scheduling. When scaling campaigns, timing matters as much as the content itself. Recency and algorithmic advantage. Platforms prioritize content based on recency in their ranking algorithms. Timeliness is a key factor in content relevance for ranking systems. On Instagram, for example, the AI ranking system decides the order in which users see posts, stories, and reels. And recent posts are considered more relevant than older posts. On TikTok, although content may stay relevant and resurface later, the platform generally prefers fresh content. Timing optimization ensures your content hits the audience when they are most active, giving you an algorithmic advantage. Social media management platforms offer tools to help organize content scheduling. Hootsuite, for instance, provides scheduling tools and offers an auto-scheduler feature that recommends times based on previous post performance, which can take the guesswork out of planning. Timing optimization is inexpensive and high impact. Optimizing your post schedule based on known peak activity windows is a cost-effective way to improve reach and engagement. Key insights for mastering campaign timing include varying peak times. Best posting days vary by platform. For example, studies suggest that generally the best times to post on social media are 9 a.m. or 10 a.m., Tuesdays through Thursdays. However, optimal times differ significantly across platforms. For example, on Instagram, peak engagement is typically 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Tuesdays and Wednesdays. LinkedIn peak engagement is usually 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. Tuesdays and Wednesdays. X, used to be Twitter, posts perform best at 8 a.m. Mondays and Thursdays and 9 a.m. Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Audience consideration. You must consider the time zones of your core audience. Digital marketing professionals for pharmaceutical companies, for instance, use market research to inform strategies like posting ads for specific age groups when they're likely to access platforms. Tools like Later, Metricool, or Sprout, in addition to platform-native insights, can help find the hour of highest interaction. Extending shelf life. Content releases should be staggered to extend the campaign's shelf life. This ensures content is constantly rotating and maximizing reach, especially considering that content on Instagram typically sees its fate decided within the first 48 hours, while TikTok content may stay in circulation and resurface later. The process of managing campaign spending requires financial discipline and agility. You've already mastered the core return on investment math from Module 3. Now we focus on operationally applying this math specifically through return on ad spend, ROAS, which is defined as the amount of revenue generated for every dollar spent on ad campaigns. ROAS is the cleanest indicator of campaign efficiency. Scaling a campaign requires increasing investment, but that investment must only be allocated where performance is proven. You should scale only when efficiency holds steady. This disciplined approach is guided by tracking the ROAS curve, which illustrates how incremental budget impacts revenue yield. This flattening indicates the point of diminishing returns, which occurs when extra spend stops delivering a proportional return. It's often because the same audience is being overexposed. If campaigns are not carefully implemented, search marketing spends can quickly deplete marketing funds and result in financial loss. Your operational framework must include a decision rule to prevent wasting resources. Track ROAS daily by creator or ad set. Identify top quartile performers and allocate incremental budget to them. Reduce or pause bottom quartile performers. If ROAS falls below the campaign's target threshold for 2 consecutive reporting periods, you must cap or reallocate budgets to new content or influencers. For organizations maturing their digital marketing strategies, executives demand the same level of quantifiable return from an influencer campaign as they get from paid search or programmatic ads. Therefore, scaling, known as Fortify, must be tied to achieving specific performance indicators. You must define your scale threshold. That's your ROAS target for expansion. This threshold establishes the minimum required efficiency for investment. To successfully move from a pilot program to a large-scale program, a common threshold is achieving a consistent ROAS over 2 consecutive reporting periods. This requires focusing on measurable outcomes that directly impact on the bottom line, such as conversion rate and customer acquisition cost. Optimization is never a one-time task. It's a system of curiosity. Influencer campaigns are inherently cyclical systems where every launch informs the next iteration. This continuous process ensures that you maximize the return on investment and adapt quickly to live performance. We explicitly connect this process back to Module 3's measurement models. This slide visualizes that process in the campaign context, illustrating the operational loop that moves beyond analyze, amplify, repeat. Success from iteration, not one-off execution. The continuous optimization cycle is an operational feedback loop for scaling campaigns that involves 5 steps that reinforce one another. First, you collect data. This requires reviewing specific digital marketing analytics. Platforms provide a control center that tracks all crucial campaign data in one place. Second, generate insight. Analysis moves beyond simply tracking metrics to diagnosing where the campaign is breaking down. 3, take action. Actionable changes are derived from data, such as adjusting the creative direction mid-campaign. 4, test. Campaigns should undergo constant iteration by refreshing visuals, testing new calls to action, or experimenting with influencer messaging. For example, performance influencers often A/B test different CTAs, such as Shop Now versus Get 10% off, or vary content formats to see what works best. 5, collect again. Robust analytics provide immediate feedback, allowing you to double down on successful tactics and adjust strategies that are underperforming. Applications of this loop. The insights generated by this cycle guide several key applications. Adjust creative direction mid-campaign, resegment audiences for retargeting, identify top-performing creators for long-term parameter partnerships. Optimization means keeping an eye on metrics like conversion rate, click-through rate, and cost per acquisition so you can continuously improve your campaigns. By reviewing performance and refining ongoing engagement strategies, this process leads to more sustained growth. You must flex learnings and optimize current strategies while also continuing to test new hypotheses. This is the point where we shift from looking at past performance to shaping future outcomes. You already know the core formula. Take your projected revenue, subtract your total spend, divide by your total spend, then multiply by 100. That is your ROI. Now we take that foundation and make it actionable. Forecasting should not be guesswork, it's pre-measuring your outcomes. 2 critical levers are expected: conversions and average order value, or AOV. These numbers define what's possible before you ever spend a dollar. Scenario analysis lets you stress test your strategy before it hits the real world. Even a small dip, say 5 to 3%, can drag down your revenue fast. You need to know how to respond if that happens. A modest AOV lift can offset a flat conversion rate and boost your ROAS, but if AOV slips, your profit margin shrinks, even if conversions hold steady. These scenarios help you build flexibility into your campaign plan instead of reacting after the fact. A forecast isn't a static budget, it's a working model. You should be monitoring performance, adjusting spend, tweaking creative, and testing new offers as results come in. Compare actuals to targets weekly. Spot gaps early. Factor in outside forces like platform shifts or seasonality so you can adapt before stakeholders feel the pain. This is how forecasting becomes strategy and not just math. This slide isn't about budget limits, it's about smart risk management. Traditional influencer campaigns often require big upfront spending without any guarantee of return, and that is always risky. The fail fast system flips that. Instead of betting big, you invest small amounts first to protect both your budget and your confidence. The real goal of micro-testing, though, is to let data make the call. Teams often assume they know what good content looks like. Testing exposes those biases and puts results ahead of opinions. By trying different calls to action, formats, or messages, you see what actually works. Micro and nano influencers are perfect for this because they're cost-effective and deliver strong engagement relative to cost. Fail smart to scale smart. The process here is simple. Run 3 to 5 micro tests at 250 to 500 each. Measure 24-hour and 7-day performance. Promote the top performer, kill the rest, and no emotion is involved. The signals you're looking for: ROAS of 2 to 1 or better in 7 days, engagement rate of 5% or more on video. ROAS shows efficiency, and CPA tells you the true cost of acquiring a customer. These numbers guide where the bigger budgets should go. Let's take a little mini case example. A D2C brand runs 4 $300 micro tests. One video gets an ROAS of 4.5 to 1. Because the brand tested it first, it could confidently scale the winning video into a national ad while cutting the losers early. The result? Less wasted spend and faster growth. The decision rule: never let a campaign run more than 7 days without a data-driven decision. This case study on Nike Creator Class shows how to build a high-velocity testing and iteration model. Nike uses a global network of 100-plus micro-creators, not just for promotion, but as real-time R&D. Nike treats influencer content as a steady stream of data. They run quick creative sprints before big campaigns, using each creator like a focus group. Within 24 hours, dashboards reveal what's resonating with real audiences, and the results speak for themselves. 10% of test posts scaled to global campaigns. 25% lower creative costs ensued. 18% higher ad recall also. The lesson is clear. Fast testing and data-driven iteration lead to better creative decisions. Now, if you're a smaller brand, you don't need Nike's budget to adopt this model. Use micro and nano influencers for affordable, authentic testing. Run $250 or $500 micro tests with a few creators. Nano influencers drive 3 to 8% engagement rates. Use them to produce real, relatable content that converts. Measure ROAS and engagement daily. Look for at least a 2 to 1 ROAS and 5% engagement on video. Then promote the winner. Boost only the top performing post. This hybrid approach, testing with small creators and scaling proven content with paid media, gives lean brands a smart, efficient way to grow. Dashboards are more than reports. They're really leadership tools. Executives always want a simple, clear view of what's working and what's wasting time or money based on their goals. Your goal is to give them maximum insight and transparency with minimum complexity. A good dashboard lets a decision maker understand the story at a glance. Good dashboards don't just list platform metrics. They show business impact. Analytics from platforms like Meta, Pinterest, or X can be overwhelming. Grouping metrics by purpose makes the story clear and connects campaigns directly to business goals. This shift moves us away from vanity metrics and toward results that drive revenue. Dashboards make performance visible. When performance is visible, accountability follows. When marketing, analytics, and finance teams use the same definitions, decisions get faster and cleaner. HubSpot Goals is one example of a tool that aligns marketing and sales targets. Centralizing data into a single dashboard gives everyone one shared source of truth. Tools like Tableau make it easier to turn complex data into visuals that leadership can actually use. When you plan a campaign, imagine what your dashboard will look like. Sketch out one key performance indicator for each objective. Make sure each KPI ties back to your strategy and reflects outcomes that matter, particularly to management. Avoid metrics that only look good on paper. When presenting results, turn your dashboard into a clear story. This is what works for me. Describe what happened. For example, engagement rose 22%. Explain why that happened. Short-form video outperforms static images. And then recommend next steps. Reallocate more budget to video. When you lead with insights instead of screenshots, you show that your metrics drive strategy rather than decorate slides. When scaling campaigns, the purpose of measurement is to get clear strategic insights without making things unnecessarily complicated. When it comes to data, consistency matters more than volume. 5 reliable inputs will beat 15 messy or unverified ones every single time. A strong marketing program focuses on making the right systems work and ensuring that the right data is accessible. The goal is to make performance visible and accountability automatic. That means focusing on clear, actionable metrics rather than collecting everything just because you can. If your data is scattered across screenshots and multiple platforms, it creates confusion and weakens trust. A single, centralized source of truth is more powerful than a patchwork of reports. To prove results, you need a strong tracking infrastructure. UTM parameters and analytics tools like Google Analytics are the foundation of attribution. UTM parameters are like digital breadcrumbs. They tell you where traffic came from, what content drove it, and which influencer made it happen. Analytics tools like GA4 connect those breadcrumbs to real outcomes, showing exactly which posts and creators lead to conversions. Pixel tracking adds another layer by following what happens after someone clicks, connecting influencer activity to purchases, signups, or downloads. Using UTM's pixels and promo codes together gives you a full, reliable picture of campaign performance. For data to be useful, everyone needs to speak the same language. Marketing, analytics, and finance teams must agree on what counts as a conversion. A conversion could be a product purchase, a form submission, or an appointment booking. What matters is that the definition is consistent and shared across the organization. When teams are aligned, priorities don't conflict, and performance is measured the same way everywhere. A shared dashboard or single platform keeps data clean, trusted, and actionable. If your team defines success differently than your creators or your finance department, things go off track fast and badly. Clear definitions and consistent metrics turn influencer marketing from a creative experiment into a predictable revenue-driving channel. This is where you shift from analyzing data to telling the story behind it. You've run your campaigns and centralized the numbers into dashboards. Now it's about turning those numbers into clear, persuasive narratives that influences decisions and secures future budget, in a sense where you create influence within your organization. Context turns numbers into influence. Raw data is just facts. Information is data without meaning. Executives don't want more numbers, they want clarity. If a chart doesn't drive a decision, it's just decoration. When presenting performance, I would focus on business outcomes like conversion rate, customer acquisition cost, customer lifetime value, and use this 3-part insight framework to make data actionable and feel useful to executives. First, describe what happened. State the facts. Example, engagement is up 22%. Explain why it happened. Add some context. For example, short-form video outperforms static images with Gen Z. Then recommend, what should we do next? End with action. For example, reallocate 15% of the budget to video content testing. You want to lead with outcomes. One clear ROI slide often has more impact than a 40-page report. Executives care about the story behind the numbers and how it informs the next move. This case study shows how Glossier moved from short campaigns to permanent infrastructure. Instead of treating creators like short-term vendors, the brand built an always-on ambassador program that turned influence into a stable growth engine. Glossier shifted from project management to relationship management. They focused on micro and nano creators, turning them into long-term reps instead of one-time influencers. Creators got access to private community channels, early product drops, and non-cash perks like discounts. Success wasn't measured by likes or views, but by repeat content creation and retention. Tools like IRM software help maintain these long-term partnerships. This strategy delivers better performance because repeat collaborators know the brand deeply and create authentic content, and you can tell in the content. Ambassador content outperformed paid media. The sustained content flow of ambassador posts were organically reshared. Over half the ambassadors renewed quarterly. By scaling through community instead of one-off campaigns, Glossier turned influencer marketing into a predictable and efficient customer acquisition channel. This approach bakes clear goals into every launch, making campaigns both authentic and scalable. This final lever is about getting more ROI from content you've already paid for. UGC or IGC licensing is a formal agreement that gives your brand permission to reuse creator content beyond its original platform or campaign. For example, if a creator posts a winning TikTok review, a license lets you use that clip in a national ad or on your website. Contracts, though, must clearly define ownership and rights. When content works, reuse it everywhere. This cuts production costs, reduces creative workload, and drives stronger performance. Authentic UGC or IGC typically beats polished brand creative because it feels real. 20 to 40% higher CTR than in-house creative, 50% lower cost per click in some campaigns, and 20 to 30% lower CAC compared to brand-produced assets. Turning one post into a long-term asset shows operational maturity. Evergreen IGC extends reach and ROI over time. Brands use paid amplification tools like whitelisting or Spark ads to keep top content running for months. Even when repurposed, disclosure is still required though. Hashtag ad or paid partnership tags must be used. The bottom line is that licensing and amplifying top-performing creator content keeps proven assets working harder and longer. It's one of the most cost-efficient ways to scale impact without increasing production spend. When campaigns involve working with multiple influencers on an ongoing basis, manually tracking everything becomes time-consuming and often inaccurate. So automation then becomes critical for handling tasks that humans are not expected to waste time on by management. This includes data entry, reporting, and alerts. Automation drives efficiency, accuracy, and visibility for large campaigns by streamlining repetitive tasks. Using AI tools for routine tasks saves time and resources, allowing human teams to focus on strategy and high-level creative work. Platforms drive efficiency and reduce risk by centralizing workflow. Platforms like Upfluence and Creator IQ bring all campaign steps into one dashboard, covering everything from contracts and content review to payments and analytics. This centralization provides a single source of truth for all campaign data. Automating tasks. Influencer marketing software can automate the process of sending contracts, generating commission links, handling global payments, and automating performance summaries. Automated systems for payments can reduce administrative workloads by 40% or more. Enhancing visibility and reporting. Robust analytics dashboards provide valuable insights. Instead of juggling multiple tools, automation helps cut reporting time by producing up-to-the-minute reports. This clarity allows marketers to track the success of campaigns and optimize for better results. Example, a single dashboard in a platform like Creator IQ can show deliverables, approval status, and engagement, meaning no email digging required. For example, the automatic post-approval request APAR feature in platforms like Kitly Business allows you to set up rules for content guidelines, while the content itself can be stored and tracked within the platform. This robust functionality is why companies like IMI drove $200,000 in sales using Shopify Collabs to manage 432 ambassadors, a number that would have been a nightmare to manage manually. Automation manages tasks, but not trust. While automation tools provide speed, structure, and reach, they are designed to manage tasks, not trust. And human connection is key. The success of all marketing campaigns depends equally on the human aspect and the technology. Channels like social media base their success on authenticity, dialogue, and relationships. Relationship management. Influencer relationship management, IRM, dashboards are designed to help you nurture long-term relationships by keeping track of all collaborations, communication history, and influencer status. Keep communications human. You must avoid outsourcing creator communication. Authenticity still requires a human tone. The goal is to build long-term partnerships rooted in a reciprocal sense of respect. If you're running lean, it's advisable to focus on the relationships and the message while the platform handles the management tasks. The core function of contract templates and scaling influencer marketing is to act as efficiency tools rather than legal traps, streamlining operations and ensuring predictable performance. Contracts are the foundational documents that drive the relationships between brands and content creators. For campaigns to scale efficiently, standardized agreements are essential for managing complexity. By clearly defining deliverables, payment terms, usage rights, and termination terms up front, each clause reduces email volume later. Clearly written contracts establish shared expectations and protect both parties from misunderstandings and confusion down the line. Automation tools available in modern influencer relationship management platforms, such as Aspire.io, are designed to automate these repetitive tasks like sending contracts. This helps small teams stay on top of multiple conversations and track campaign progress without jumping between emails or external documents. Standardization allows teams to focus on personalization and relationship management rather than administrative tasks. Platforms like Circle handle contract generation and signing automatically, which is a major help for small teams without dedicated legal or financial staff. Standardization protects both the brand and the creator when moving from small number of collabs to a scaled program involving many partners. Standardized contracts offer creators better protection, clearer deliverables, fairer compensation, and career stability, separating serious creators from hobbyists. For the creator, contracts outline the expected services and compensation. Contracts clearly outline the legal considerations, including exclusivity arrangements, content approval process, and intellectual property rights, IP. Specific elements that must be standardized include rate card tier, that would be nano, micro, macro, and ambassador. Usage rights duration and media scope, for example, IGC rights for paid ads. Disclosure and compliance language, FTC, ASA, TGA. Payment terms and late fee clauses. Right of publicity, explicitly stating how an influencer's likeness can be used. When managing numerous partners, clear contracts reduce misunderstandings and ensure everyone adheres to compliance standards. Brands must ensure that influencers clearly and conspicuously disclose their material relationship, and the contract should specifically place the burden for compliance on the influencer. The legal landscape of digital marketing is constantly changing. Therefore, standardization is crucial for ensuring that compliance language is kept up to date as regulations shift. Regulations shift quickly, and the influencer marketing industry will face stricter disclosure requirements and advertising standards. For example, the FTC actively monitors social media posts and revised its endorsement guidelines in 2023 to reflect the growing role of social media in advertising. Brands must be prepared to update contracts to include emerging requirements, such as synthetic content clauses, which address the use of AI-generated or altered assets. If marketing internationally, organizations must ensure compliance with all applicable local and international laws, such as the EU's GDPR and the UK's ASA, and Canada's Competition Act. Consulting a lawyer in each relevant jurisdiction may be necessary to navigate the legal rules and avoid making blanket assumptions. By prioritizing standardized contracts and automation, influencer marketing can be professionalized, which ultimately benefits consumers and legitimate brands alike by creating a level playing field. We've established the definition of affiliate marketing as a strategy where a partner earns a commission or reimbursement based on sales from referred customers. Now we emphasize how these performance-based models extend content lifespan and increase efficiency in scaled programs. The strategic shift required to scale is moving from transactional influence to recurring partnerships. Scalability ultimately depends on relationship maturity, not just creator count. Evolving from campaigns to communities, these structured models, ambassadors and affiliates, are crucial for reducing the high financial risk and time investment associated with constant sourcing by replacing one-off campaigns with deeper partnerships. Ambassadorships are typically long-term commitments, often lasting 6 to 12 months. Ambassadors are long-term brand partners who create recurring content and engage regularly with the brand community. By investing in long-term partnerships, brands cultivate deeper trust and familiarity, making the endorsement feel more genuine and sustainable. This helps turn creators into loyal advocates for your brand, which strengthens brand credibility and helps your brand grow organically. Affiliate marketing is performance-based. Affiliates are only paid when a verified sale occurs via their unique link or promo code. This model aligns as incentives. The brand only pays when a sale happens, and the creator is motivated to maximize conversions. Affiliate links and discount codes provide direct sales attribution, making ROI measurement clear. Ambassadors and affiliates significantly reduce acquisition costs by replacing the need for constant, costly sourcing with deeper, proven relationships. Influencers, particularly micro and nano influencers, are often open to flexible payment structures, including performance or hybrid models, making them ideal for testing in the affiliate channel. Micro-influencers are often more cost-effective to work with and can provide a better return for long-term partnerships. Case example, a skincare brand that converts its top 10 micro-influencers into ambassadors keeps steady content flow without additional outreach spend. This is because long-term collaborators who know your brand and products well can create more authentic content and gradually build consumer trust and loyalty. For example, the founder of Dura-Dry, the deodorant brand, reported reducing its customer acquisition costs by 29% after simplifying the management of its affiliate and gifting workflows through a dedicated platform. Scaling these relationships requires dedicated operational systems to manage tracking, contracts, and communication. To accurately attribute sales and commission, you must provide unique affiliate links and promo codes to each creator. Many platforms like Shopify Collabs, Upfluence, and Impact automate the generation of these links, track performance data, and automate payments, eliminating the need for third-party tools. Long-term contracts drive the long relationships and must be formalized, outlining compensation, deliverables, and content ownership. For long-term commitments, you must use long-term contracts. Tools are necessary to manage the complexity of these relationships. Platforms like Aspire.io and Shopify Collabs offer relationship management features that track all communications, allowing you to nurture long-term relationships and manage ambassador programs in one place. Engagement can be fostered through community channels like a private Slack or Discord group. When a campaign faces unexpected backlash or crisis, that is the moment with the strongest emotional attachment and potential impact on relationships. How a company handles customer issues or complaints can create a huge value and trust or destroy a relationship. This framework is your operational blueprint for minimizing downtime and restoring brand stability, ensuring that timelessness and clear ownership prevent escalation. Now, the focus here is purely on operational execution, team coordination, and speed. Phase 1. Rapid detection and pause. Your priority is speed. Silence can be interpreted as guilt, but responding too slowly can also upset an already irate customer and create further negative commentary. So pause distribution. The designated team member must immediately stop amplification of the problematic content to prevent further reputational damage. This can mean stopping additional posts from going out or pausing or stopping ad spend in whatever way is quickest. 2, assess impact. Use sentiment monitoring tools like Hootsuite's Sentiment tool to monitor whether public perception leans positive, negative, or neutral. You must gather data on the tone and volume of criticism within the first few hours. Phase 2, accountability and response. A good management strategy must be pre-established to determine the necessary operational response. This requires clear coordination on several key accountability questions. Who pauses the content? Who has the authority to stop media spend? Who drafts the message? Usually it's the communications or PR lead, but it might be someone more technical depending on the nature of the crisis. Who approves and monitors sentiment? Senior leadership, brand governance? Your response must be carefully managed to de-escalate tension. A thoughtful response should be formulated to address consumer concerns without sounding defensive or dismissive. A good management strategy determines who will respond, what they will respond to, how soon they will respond, and the tone and voice that will be used. Releasing a clear, factual brand statement within hours, transparency and control. Phase 3 and 4, rebuild trust and protect ROI. Once the immediate fire is out, the focus shifts to rebuilding trust. Consistency and response time must protect ROI and brand continuity. Rebuild trust. This involves follow-up actions such as releasing clarification or an educational series to reinforce accountability. Documentation. Every action, from the pause time to the message approval, must be logged. This process validates your workflow for rapid crisis response, ensuring that the team learns and optimizes for future campaigns. Using tools like AI for routine tasks can assist in generating performance reports and analyzing engagement metrics across platforms during this intense phase, freeing up staff to focus on critical response strategy. Our key takeaway here is that operational agility restores stability. By defining clear ownership up front, you ensure the crisis is managed as a procedural failure, just some operational problem, rather than allowing it to damage long-term brand equity. The core challenge when running campaigns at scale is that collaboration at scale is where teams often break down. Functional groups frequently fail to manage the process effectively, and it increases complexity. Processes replace memory. That is leadership. You need systems in place so that organizations become a scaling strategy, not an afterthought. The biggest risk is not that you lack creative ideas. Everybody has creative ideas, but you suffer from tool sprawl, which means blind spots everywhere. Small teams and organizations must manage communication and track campaigns' progress without jumping between emails or external documents. Accountability is essential for high-growth teams, and this is achieved by ensuring that briefs, dates, and deliverables are all housed in one centralized place. When everything is kept crystal clear up front, it makes communication smoother and provides accountability for both the brand and the creator. Multi-creator campaigns with 100+ assets succeed only with strict naming discipline. I've run them where we've managed 100+ assets flawlessly, and the only reason that was possible was naming discipline. Every single piece of content, from the raw footage to the approved final clip, followed a consistent naming convention that included the creator's initials, the platform, the date, and the stage of approval. This level of rigor ensures that your assets, IGC or UGC, are instantly recognizable and organized in your shared content library, preventing costly mistakes when media buyers amplify content or when analysts pull data. It transforms content from a management chaos into a clear information architecture, IA. You should document your collaboration system explicitly, demonstrating operational readiness. The goal of creative optimization is to refine what the audience sees and feels based on performance data. This process transitions from the foundational planning done in Module 3 to the continuous testing required for live scaling campaigns, from creative principle to operational testing. In Module 3, you established creative mandates defining the core principles and look-feel of your content, including the concept of the hook, the element designed to capture immediate attention. Now we move from defining that principle to operationally testing it. Optimization requires using behavioral insight and not aesthetics to determine what works best. Key creative levers to test and refine include hook, your first 3 seconds, adjusting the tone, text overlay, or initial visual expression affects the scroll stop rate. Call to action, swapping phrasing or placement, for example, changing shop now to try it. Length, comparing the completion rate between 15-second clips versus 30-second clips. Thumbnail or cover image. This critical visual element directly affects the scroll stop rate. Testing involves trying different content variations to determine which content works best using techniques like A/B testing. Savvy marketers should require creators to submit multiple script variants or caption options to ensure A/B testing capability from day one. Emphasis on brevity, the TikTok example. The rapid pace of social platforms, particularly short-form video channels, makes testing the hook crucial. Content under 60 seconds consistently achieves more reach because algorithms reward completion rates. On platforms like TikTok, the hook is everything, literally happening within the first 3 seconds. TikTok's algorithm emphasizes discovery and prioritizes content that users interact with quickly. If your video does not hook the viewer immediately, they will scroll away. Therefore, maximizing the retention of your audience requires extreme brevity at the outset. If your content fails to secure watch time within the first few seconds, the TikTok algorithm will penalize its distribution, underscoring the necessity of emphasizing brevity and high-impact opens. The primary metrics to monitor during creative testing are engagement rate and click-through rate. Low CTR, for example, signals that you should test an alternate hook or thumbnail immediately. The core challenge for scaling brands is transitioning from managing influencer fees to implementing adaptive budgeting logic. Budgets are not static, they're not spreadsheets, they're decision systems where every reallocation must tie directly to a measured KPI. The guiding principle is simple, fund verified performance, not perceived status. Scaling brands reinvest where metrics prove value, emphasizing the difference between static budgets and dynamic allocations. You must assign resources based on the strategic goal of each creator tier and then dynamically adjust based on verified performance and financial efficacy. Conversions and community, micro tiers. 1 nano influencers. The recommended allocation is 10 to 20%. These creators focus on authenticity and niche trust. Success is monitored through high engagement rate, typically 8% or higher. 2 micro influencers, recommended allocation 40 to 50%. These creators are highly effective at driving conversions and community influence, making them suitable for conversion-focused testing. They're significantly more cost-effective due to their lower rates and high engagement to cost ratio. Efficiency is monitored using cost per acquisition. Awareness and amplification are macro tiers and paid media. 1 macro influencers. Our recommended allocation is 20 to 30%. These are primarily used for awareness and brand search lift, measured via impressions and brand lift score. Paid boost or UGC ads. Recommended allocation 10 to 20%. This can also be IGC ads. This budget is used to amplify top-performing content via paid media. Success is measured by high ROAS, targeting greater or equal to a 3-to-1 ratio. So for every $1 spent on ads, you should earn at least $3 in revenue or more. Dynamic reallocation, a decision system. You must continuously monitor the CPA by creator tier to assess efficiency. This reallocation process is how budgets become decision systems. The decision rule. If you observe that micro tier creators deliver ROAS 4 to 1, while macros hit 1.8 to 1, you should shift 10% of spend down tier next month. Continuous adjustment. This practice maximizes return per dollar and ensures that you're continuously refining your strategy based on reliable data. You must reinvest in influencers with proven ROI for future campaigns. This dynamic model reinforces that budget management is an adaptive discipline where each reallocation should tie to a measured KPI. The core challenge for scaling brands is transitioning from managing influencer fees to implementing adaptive budgeting logic. This slide introduces the concept of dynamic budget allocations, moving beyond static budgets to a system where scaling brands reinvest where metrics prove value. Budgets are not static spreadsheets, they're decision systems where every reallocation must tie directly to a KPI. The principle is simple: fund verified performance, not perceived status. Here's how we typically allocate budget across performance tiers based on strategic goals and expected return. Each tier serves a distinct function that justify its budget allocation. Nano and micro influencers are ideal for campaigns focused on conversion and community engagement. Micro influencers are significantly more cost-effective due to their lower rates and high engagement to cost ratio, making them powerful for targeted campaigns. They're crucial for testing new messaging and products. Macro influencers, who typically have 100,000 to 1 million followers, are engaged for their expansive visibility, making them suitable for campaigns where broad awareness is the key objective. When analyzing the financial efficiency of your creators, metrics like ROAS and CPA are non-negotiable. You must monitor the CPA by creator tier or creator individually to assess efficiency. If micro-influencers show a better CPA than macro-influencers, you should redirect your budget to work with more niche creators. This means reallocation is continuous and determined by real-time performance. For example, if you observe that micro-tier creators deliver ROAS 4-1, while macros only hit 1.8-1, you should shift 10% of your spend down tier next month. This decision maximizes return per dollar and ensures that you are continually refining your strategy based on reliable data. Failure to monitor, measure, and analyze performance data may result in substantial waste of marketing expenditure. You must reinvest in influencers with proven ROI for future campaigns. This operational shift transforms influencer marketing from a speculative endeavor into a predictable and scalable engine for customer acquisition. And with that, Module 4 wraps. But before we completely wrap, I want to make sure you know how to reach me if you have questions or need support. Any feedback is welcome. If you're feeling frustrated or feel like you need to vent about something, please do reach out. I am here to problem solve in whatever capacity you feel you need. You can message me through Canvas inbox or email me directly. If you'd like to meet live, I hold office hours by appointment over Zoom. You just visit the scheduling link and book a time. And because this course is rooted in real-world influence, I encourage you to stay active online. See you in the next module, where we will take everything you've built and talk more about trust and legal implications.